Good evening, Fernwood. It is your clue-gathering friend Neil here, and it's time for us to put two and two together to make four with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 137 from October 12th of 1976. It is the 7th episode of season 2. Let's do our recap. It starts when Nurse Gimble, with a fresh new injury, welcomes Tom into the mental ward where he finally finds Mary after a week of searching for her. It is a very sweet and warm reunion at first, but Tom shuts it down when Mary gets excited as she tries to warn him about the threat of nuclear destruction that Chester Markham has shared with her. He walks out of the place and leaves Mary exasperated. Over at Action 6 News, Kathy finds Clete Meisenheimer as he is about to interview Merle Jeters about the death of his son, Jimmy Joe Jeters. It is a fairly standard interview, and it seems as though Merle Jeters is making moves towards a political arena. And then finally, Loretta does her best to comfort Charlie as he has lost a testicle that was shot off during a fight at the end of season 1. She does a bit of flirting with him, and he's excited at first, but then is very saddened to find that there is no sexual response. That's our recap of yesterday's episode. Let's go ahead and get started.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Dear me, what a pity. I hope you're feeling better now, Mary. Your husband certainly seemed a charming man. Are you listening to me, Mary? Mary?
What?
I was just saying how impressed I was with your husband.
He's dead.
Oh, no, he's not. He just went home. By the way, I do feel obliged to suggest that you don't take so seriously what Mr. Markham says. You know, everyone has their little idiosyncrasies. Yes, indeed, your husband is a very attractive man.
He's dead.
Oh, no, he's not dead. See, you're just angry with him right now. And so's that Merle Jeter, an attractive man, don't you think? You know, it always surprises me how many attractive, truly attractive men there are in the Fernwood area. Do you ever think about things like that, Mary?
Yes. I can't believe this. I can't believe that could happen. I can't believe that could happen to that child.
Don't get so upset. You know, you mustn't take things like the news so personally. I don't think it's normal.
But I know that child. I mean, it's not like something like this happened halfway around the world. I gave that little boy milk and cookies.
You better be careful. I don't think Doctor would be pleased to see you take this so to heart.
But this just doesn't make any sense. None of this does. Does it, Ronald? Do you understand?
Mary, do you expect Mr. Drayton to answer you?
No. That's why I could ask him. Look at him. He knows as little as any of us. Don't you understand, Mrs. Gimble? I mean, has anyone ever given you a satisfactory explanation? A parent, a teacher, a minister, even a doctor? Has anybody ever given you a sensible answer? Wondrous ways indeed.
And that's what's what. For an update on all the stories we just covered, be sure and watch the late news. See you later. Hi, Kathy. You feeling better? You sure look great. What was it, the flu or something?
Oh, sort of, stomach bug.
Oh, yeah, that can be really tough to get rid of. You should probably take it easy for a while, huh?
Yeah, well, the clinic says it's the kind of thing that could, linger on for months.
Oh, is it contagious?
Oh, no. Don't worry. You can't catch it. But there's something else I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, sure. What is it? Oh, would you hold this for a second? Thanks.
Well, you see, I was wondering, I mean, does that proposal for marriage still stand? Do you still want to marry me?
Oh, Kathy. Of course I want to still marry you. Well, for sure. That's great, but what made you change your mind? I mean, what about your career you had planned and no ties and living on your own? What about all that stuff?
Well, it's just that I realized my life just isn't my own.
It's pretty romantic.
Yeah, that too. And, well, now that you're a part of my life, and you know that I need you, I want to tell you that I also love you. And because I love you, I want to tell you the whole truth.
What is it? Well, come on, Kathy. You know how I feel about you, and nothing you can say can matter to me, so...
I hope so. I'm going to have a baby.
What? A baby? That's fantastic. Oh, Kathy, that's incredible news. A baby. Good grief. What? You know how much I wanted a family. Hey, you know, maybe we can even get it covered on the evening news. Now, if I get the station manager to be the best man, oh, this is incredible. Let's see, the date on that would be,
6 months.
6 months. 6 months? Have we been going together that long? Time sure flies when you're having fun.
No, it's just...
Hey, wait a minute. Now, 6 months, I'm sure that the first time... No. I specifically remember that the first time was right around the time I covered that story on the hijacking of the Mr. Softy truck. And that would be about 6 weeks ago. So let's see, 6 weeks is a month and a half. About 7.5 months is more like it, but the clinic will let us know for sure.
The clinic already knows it's 6 months.
Yeah, but that means it's not my child.
Doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
I mean, you're the only man I love. You're the only man I've ever loved.
Well, obviously, that's not quite true.
I'm talking about love, Clete. I know I've been with others, but I was always searching for you.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you stopped to look in a few too many places.
But you said you always wanted a lot of children.
Yeah, but I wanted them to be my own.
But the child will know no other father, and no one else will know, and we'll have a lot of more kids, and it'll get mixed in, and it'll be just like it's yours. Can't you see?
No, Kathy, I don't see that. I mean, what kind of a man would I be if I let you foist some other guy's kid on me, no matter how I felt about you? Look, I've got my life really carefully planned, see? And those plans don't include taking responsibility for some slip-up on the part of you and one of your lovers.
Your plans? What did you do? Wake up one morning and see the calendar and it says, today I shall get married? I mean, is that how it works?
Whoa, no, that's not how it works. But what are you trying to make me the heavy for? I mean, I'm not the guy who loused up this relationship, am I?
I just thought that it was important that we loved each other. And everybody makes mistakes.
Look, Kathy, I don't want you to think that I don't want to help you. I do. I care about you. I really do.
Then you'll marry me.
No. What I had in mind is more of, like, loaning you the money to get out of this mess.
Oh, Clete, how could you?
You're right. The hell with it. Whatever I have, all my money is yours.
I don't want your money. Damn, is that all you can think of?
Yeah, Kathy, right now, that's all I can think of. So, it's, you know, it was really terrific and all that stuff, and why don't we just, you know, keep in touch, okay?
But I still work here. I'll see you.
Well, I don't think it'd be too cool for you to stay on.
What do you mean you don't think it'll be too cool?
Well, in the first place, we don't have a uniform that has an expanding stomach panel.
My stomach is still quite flat, thank you.
And for another thing, there's a lot of people around here who know how long we've been seeing each other, and,
That's discrimination, and I won't be fired because I'm unwed.
Hey, whoa, shh, please. Kathy, you're not being fired, you're just being reassigned. Look, we've been thinking about a new show. And we're gonna put you on it.
What show?
Well, it's not written yet, but you're perfect for it. You really are perfect for it. Trust me.
Now I know how Elizabeth Ray felt when Wayne Hayes had it.
Hey, you're not thinking about broadcasting this all over the place, are you?
No, I'll leave the broadcasting to you. I just wish one thing for you, Clete Meisenheimer. And that's that I hope you don't let any of this get you down.
Hello, sweetheart. Oh, how's my girl? Oh, Heather, take that knife out of there this minute.
I was just toasting a muffin.
Well, you could have toasted yourself, putting metal into the elements.
Well, it's stuck. How else do you want me to get it out? With my teeth?
Your teeth, oh heavens no, teeth are even worse than knives. Now what you have to use is a plastic fork or a Playtex living glove or something.
Well, I could leave it in there and get anorexia nervosa. That's when you die it to death. I read that in the back of one of Mom's magazines. Maybe we should forward them to her in the bin.
Heather, I do not want to hear one more word about dieting or dying or your mother. I'm already too upset about poor George and poor Jimmy Joe and people disappearing and meeting makers. At my age, that's all I ever seem to hear is about passing on or passing away, or departing this life and leaving the loved ones without a cent. Why, it's enough to bring you to an untimely end. Oh, now, what is this? Who did that?
What?
I put the PAM over the pilot light. Heather, that could explode and blow you sky high or lodge in your arm. Now, Heather, you are going to have to be a little more careful or I won't even be able to think about it.
About Pam or death? You know that kid preacher that got erased? He was a friend of Mother's. You know, that show saved my life.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
You mean because you learned that you should never watch television in the bathtub? Well, I hope some good came out of that horrible, awful tragedy.
Yeah, it's great because I can use it for thanatology in our contemporary studies class.
What's that, dear?
Thanatology, talking about death. You know, we're supposed to write a paper about someone we know that died and accept the experience or not. I was going to write about Trudy's Goebbels that got caught in their curiosity cube, but Jimmy Joe's is better, even though I do think the teacher and the class would rather hear about the Goebbels. If I get an A in thanatology, I won't have to write an optional paper on capital punishment, which was going to balance the C+ I got in vanishing values.
Vanish? Why does that word vanishing keep appearing? I wish it wouldn't. Imagine your grandfather disappeared without a trace. Now, I could understand if Mrs. Larrabee from the hardware store vanished. After all, she's 92 years old and getting very small. Oh, I guess I'll do these dishes. Now, what's in that dish? Heather, you weren't planning on eating plain sugar, were you? Because it can make holes in your teeth.
Oh, it's arsenic, you know, rat poison.
Oh, now don't tell me there are rats here. That's all we need is for you to be bitten by a diseased rat or put rat poison in your cereal by mistake.
No, it's for the ants. It works. Hey, maybe Grandpa got kidnapped from aliens from another galaxy, and they're doing weird experiments on him to see if they can successfully enslave the human race and then colonize it in swarms.
Oh, that's ridiculous, Heather. Why would anybody choose your grandfather to experiment on? Why, they could have picked a younger man like Leonard Nimoy, someone who's had experience in space.
Well, maybe he got amnesia. Maybe he hit his head on the fender while trying to tie a shoe. And sort of like President Ford, lost his identity.
Oh, Heather, that is ridiculous, too. The only thing your grandfather ever lost was his temper. And now we've lost him. And I'm practically a widow. Oh, now, what are those pills you're taking?
Vitamin A, for my eyes. They'll make you blind if you take too much. So I won't.
Oh, why is it so dangerous in the safety of your own home?
Hello? What's the matter, Martha? What's the matter? What is it? The hospital call? Is it Mary? Huh?
What, did you hear from Mary? What's happened? Did she make an attempt on her? Oh, if I hear any more about thanatology, I am going to faint.
Did she use razor blades? She needed transfusion.
Huh? What are you talking about? What is this talk about suicide?
Oh, no!
Martha, calm down. Mary's all right. She's all right. Just relax, everybody.
You mean she's going to come home now to keep Heather from these household hazards?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know yet. You know, she's still a little dingy yet, you know, but she's alive and jumping around and talking a lot and waving her arms a lot and with her eyes wide open and everything like that, you know.
Sounds like she's back to normal.
Normal? Yeah.
Hello, Merle. Hi, it's Loretta. Merle, I need to talk to you for a little while. No, I don't believe I ever want to go back to that room again. What about the Capri Lounge? All right. About a half hour? Fine, I'll see you then. Bye.
Have a nice day, Mrs. Defarge. Oh, Mary, come on over. I am so glad you could come to finger painting. It is so relaxing. Now, look here. Mrs. Defarge just vented all of her aggression here on this very expressive composition. She calls it Chicago. You see, if you look closely, you can see, written in the flames, Mayor Daley welcomes you. It's her hometown. Would you like to make one?
Of Fernwood?
Yes, you can work from imagination or from life.
Life.
Good. Now, what would you like to do? There's the chairs and the windows. In fact, why don't you try to finger paint me?
Oh, okay.
Good. Now, where would you like me to sit?
Over there.
Okay. Is this all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mary, what are you doing? Mary, look what you've done.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. I must have misunderstood.
Mary, I meant on the paper.
Oh, on the paper.
On the paper.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really so sorry.
Well, do you want to try it again?
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, this may not, look a lot like you or anything like that, okay? I just wanted to tell you that I'm real sorry about what I did before. I misunderstood.
Yes, Mary, I hear you.
It was a misunderstanding.
I hear you, Mary.
Okay.
How's this?
Oh, that is wonderful. Very lifelike. I'm sorry. Would you mind if I asked you something I'm still very concerned about?
Oh, go right ahead.
It's about your new ear injury. You see, I mean, we've gone into the other injuries, but we haven't had a chance to really go into the new ear injury, and I was just curious about it. That was all.
Oh, that. It is the strangest thing. There's this thermostat over the new color console I got for my son. Did I mention it?
Uh-huh. Automatic tuning?
Exactly. Well, it's got this antenna-type thing on the top with a loop and two... Well, antenna's the best way to describe it.
No, I know what you mean. Where they collapse?
No, these don't. The ones on portables do.
Right. Oh, how silly of me. The console, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching the local news on 6, and I had the antenna over to the right, which is the only way you're going to get a clear image on 6.
Uh-huh. How do you do on 2? Because, when I get 2, I get a ghost.
Oh, no, this is marvelous, Mary. We don't get any ghosts at all, which is, of course, providing that we have the antenna tuned in the right direction, which is how this happened. I got up to get my husband a beer, a special treat,
Uh-huh.
And I stopped on the way to turn up the thermostat because of the chill that comes on after dark.
It got chilly.
Yes. And somebody must have turned to the national news because the prongs antenna had moved to the left. And as I bent over to turn up the stat, they snagged my ear.
You know, I would like to suggest that you get the portable. I'll tell you what, they collapse on impact. That's the first thing. And, it's just a much safer set. Of course, you do not get as clear a picture. I mean, you do not, and I guess that is just very important. But I must say, I am getting finally a clearer picture of some of these accidents. But your picture is beginning to look like a car wreck.
You're done? Oh, let me look. Oh, Mary. Why, Mary. Just the fact that you got it down on paper. It's interesting how all the patients seem to be getting the same view of me. Have a nice day, Mary.
Oh, have a nice day, too. I enjoyed painting you.
Sure. Have a nice day, Chester.
Oh, hi, Mr. Markham. Real nice seeing you.
Everything's nice, isn't it? Nice. Nice. Vice, mice, slice, lice. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not feeling very good today.
No, I know what you mean. I need something physical. Like my husband or even a take-out pizza. They don't let you order out here, do they?
You see, that is just the trouble. There are so many problems, and everyone's so miserable that everyone wants to forget everything. They don't want to do anything. And, driving over here, I passed about 10.3 cars that had that little smiling face that says, "Have a nice day. Have a nice death. Have a nice day and smile and die, sucker." That's what it ought to say. Yeah. I never want to hear "have a nice day" again. Never. You hear me? Never. Never, ever have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
So now we have another episode full of breadcrumbs for us to pick up, and hopefully we will make a whole meal out of that, or at least a cookie. It started in the mental ward with Mary sharing her point of view with Nurse Gimble. And Nurse Gimble, she comes off as somewhat of a romantic, but also isn't really picking up on the very clear feeling of trauma and mourning that Mary is putting down. And Mary has felt the death of someone that she knew in passing. It's quite sad, that Mary is not being taken seriously here. But there's a bit of a point of view difference between Mary and Nurse Gimble, and maybe that's something that we will start to understand as the episodes go on. Mary is very clearly troubled still by the things that are going outside in the world. Nurse Gimble seems to go on about how handsome so many of the men in this town are. It's television, so in theory they will be handsome, but still a little bit of a not picking up on feelings thing. Speaking of not picking up on feelings, Clete and Kathy have a talk about getting married, and Clete is ready to marry Kathy up until the point that he figures out that the baby that Kathy has is not his. And, to me it feels like Clete doesn't really love Kathy, that he had some attraction for her. I don't know. It's a bit too much to say. He was willing to marry Kathy up until the point that he discovered that the baby wouldn't have been his. And it gives me the question of who the baby's father could be, because Clete and Kathy were together toward the end of season 1, and Father DeMarco was after that. And also, where the heck is Father DeMarco? Like, that is a mystery that is completely unspoken about. I mean, a different thought here is, what if that baby is Steve's? And how awful that guy was at the very end. He was good up until the very end. There are a few other characters that we really haven't seen that at this point I feel like I should address before I forget. But Billy 12trees completely is a non-entity as far as this season is concerned. Ed and Howard McCullough get zero visibility. So I'm wondering if those characters just disappeared. Please don't spoil it, because I don't know. But, you know, I would love to see Howard and Ed's story go a little bit further than what we saw at the end of last season, that they are going to get married. Would love to see them in a married relationship. Yes, not a legally married relationship, but you know what I mean. Like, having made their commitment to each other and coming out of the closet. We'll see if we ever see anything about that. I'm a little bit doubtful at this point because it's been more than a week. Then over at the Hartman residence, Martha comes over and sees the way that Heather has been taking care of herself and notes all of the deadly things in Heather's kitchen. The way that Heather has kept the kitchen. Putting the knife into the toaster was something that when I saw it, like, I had a bit of a reaction to. It's a bit much. And, you know, not like I didn't play with metal implements in electric fixtures as a child, but still not a good idea. And Martha's reaction to everything is to get very excited. And Tom comes in, and his function, and I'm starting to maybe realize this, Tom doesn't like big emotions. Or maybe that's how I'm interpreting it. I feel like Tom yesterday with Mary very much had a runaway reaction when she started to get excited about Chester Markham's nuclear threat. And today, and Martha often needs some calming down, but that's the basic reaction, is please just don't be excited anymore. Let's find a way to calm the situation. So that would be a weakness in my mind, because letting someone have their emotional space is important. Now, mind you, Martha often gets emotional to the point of dysfunction, and maybe he's just trying to head that off, but it's not what it felt like. Then we see a brief exchange between Kathy and Merle, at least on the phone, and it makes me a bit worried because the end of yesterday's episode was Charlie having no sexual response to Loretta's flirtations, and there was a bit of a question there. Also, Loretta really does know that Merle has an interest in her, so I'm very afraid of the overlap of those two elements right there. She might also feel some responsibility for Jimmy Joe, since she was the person taking care of him when he passed away. I don't know. I guess we will only see what that conversation is when it happens. But that is something that I'm wondering about. And then finally, back at the mental ward, Mary does finger painting. And I never understood finger painting. I think I did it once as a kid and did not understand the appeal. And I don't know. But I guess Nurse Gimble thinks that it will be very relaxing. But that scene, to me, is again returning to that plot thread that has been dropped like little cookie crumbs throughout this season, of Nurse Gimble coming in with a new injury. First it was the sling, or no, first it was the neck brace, then the sling, then the ear. And Nurse Gimble continues to give us stories about why they exist. And maybe we can take them at face value, maybe, but they don't paint a good picture of what's going on at home. I guess, again, this is something that we will have to see. And finally, we come in with Chester Markham, who brought in a Peanuts lunchbox. And I remembered in the first season that Heather had a Peanuts lunchbox that occasionally she would put down, and it made me wonder if Heather and Chester for some reason have the same taste, or if there's only one lunchbox in the prop department of this place. I don't know. It was a silly little question, but then Chester goes on his rant about the smiley face, have a nice day sticker that was ubiquitous in the 1970s. And I feel like we still recognize a smiley face today. It just does not go away. It was the ultimate mimetic device. But it is very much sparking an angry response from Chester, who, as we have noted again and again, has apocalyptic pictures of what he will do to the world with his nuclear device. And as far as we know, that device might be real. Well, that's everything I've got to share about this episode. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and feelings down in the comments. Thank you for helping me put 2 and 2 together to make 4. We will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.